Welcome back to the one and only podcast. Podcast number, what month are we in? September. So that's number 9. It's number 9 of season 2.
Well done, Laura.
Woohoo! Quick shout out to our sponsors. The marvellous, consistent, the man in the know, Alistair Hurd from Hurd Media. And Finance for Farms for all your financial needs and advice in the farming world. Get onto those guys. Welcome, Glyn. Happy September.
It's been great, hasn't it?
Oh, it's been.
And today it's Monday, the whatever it is, 16th today. What a lovely sunny day.
I know.
We get excited when we see sunshine, don't we?
We do. It's to be a nice week.
Yeah.
Nice week. Nice autumnal week. We chill in the air, but blue skies.
Yeah, that's bringing a smile to everyone's faces. What have you been up to in the last since our 50th anniversary?
Since we turned the big 50, yeah, that's very true. What have I been up to? We've put, in terms of work, we've had our 50th. We've done lots of sheep sales. They seem to be going well.
It's been going really well, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think everyone seems in.
Were you at Kelso on the week?
I never went to Kelso on Friday there, no.
But pretty good reports by all accounts.
Yeah, less sheep, but quality very, very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good. And I think the average was actually up.
And that will make them smile.
That will make them smile. Even if you own sheep, you will smile at that.
Yeah.
What's been on for you?
Last week with National Holstein Show, or UK Dairy Day, let's call it that.
UK Dairy Day.
Which I thoroughly enjoyed.
That's at Telford?
At Telford, yeah. A lot of people, a fantastic Holstein show. Psychic Jennifer for the Wilson family winning again.
I know.
And our champion, our UK Dairy Expo champion, was reserved to Jennifer, and our reserve champion, Robbie Scott's Matilda, was honourable mention.
Wow.
But a beautiful show.
Who's the judge?
The show was, the judge was from Switzerland. Oh. I don't know the guy. Forget his name now. I had a really nice conversation with him all day long. He seemed to know me, but he kept coming over and I said,
"Doesn't everyone?"
No, I don't mean it like that, you dick. But he must. But no, it was really good. And David Jones. That's the first time I've seen David Jones's Luster cow shown, mature cow. Phenomenal. Well, there's a few partners, the Yateses, and there's a few partners in that cow, but just an beautiful, I think 5 or 6 calves, the youngest 97 pointed cow in the UK. I really thought she looked amazing. She was in the final 6. Yeah, it was just a really high quality show.
What about our faves, the jerseys? How were they?
The jersey was a great show as well. Super udders right through. Yeah, that was very good. And we have talking about jerseys. This week we have our inaugural Jersey Jewels sale.
Jersey Jewels, we're going to be inundated with the little buggers.
Looking forward to that. We've got 277 jerseys, so
we're going to descend on Borderway this week.
I think Treasure should invest in a few.
No.
No?
No, we've already got a few.
Well, just to put some of your embryos in.
Yeah, true. My favourite little part that Ali filmed at Dairy Day was the clip of them. I don't know who it was. Was it Kerry maybe that was massaging her udder over jersey? I don't know what she was rubbing on it, but she was rubbing on it to make it very glossy.
Oh, the oil?
Yeah, she was like rubbing her big udder up.
Yeah, Ali was. It would have been a busy day for you guys, was it, Ali? Yeah. I haven't seen the videos, but there would have been a lot of good footage. Yeah.
Really good. Talking of people knowing you, Glyn. My friend Abby texted me the other day. She's like, "I've just made a fool of myself in Tesco's in Annan." She's like, "I said hello to Glyn." She's like, thinking that I know Glyn. He's like, "But I just know Glyn's voice." And he kind of looked and she said, "You looked at her like..."
Oh, there was somebody went, "Hello." I went, "Hello." I was like,
absolutely no idea who that is.
No. Should I have known or not? No.
She just knows you from Facebook and from all the socials. You're just a known figure now.
Yeah, that makes sense now. That makes sense.
She was embarrassed.
Well, I think I felt, I don't know who that is. I really should. She probably thinks I'm really ignorant, but I'm glad she does.
No, she realised that she after she'd said it that you wouldn't actually know who she was.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Who's the guest this month?
Oh, Alec Robertson the farm manager at Coupon Farms up in Newton Stewart.
Right.
Really looking forward to having a chat with Alec. Alec is, well, Coupon Farms is the Dairy Farmer of the Year, 2023. They've always, I think, they've been trendsetters in the dairy industry and in farming practices for as long as I can remember. And hopefully Alec will shed a little bit of light on the farm. It's owned by a very interesting gentleman from Holland, Wine and Pawn. And again, he's been a leading businessman globally for a long time. But hopefully Alec can shed a little bit of light on that and maybe share some of the secrets on how to become Dairy Farmer of the Year and run a fantastic, successful Holstein herd. So,
okay,
let's get into it.
Let's get into it then.
So, hello everyone. This month's guest is Alex Robertson, the farm manager at Coupon Cars Farm up in Newton Stewart. Hello, Alec.
Hello, Glenn and Laura.
Laura.
Yeah. Thanks for coming down. Was it a good drive down this morning?
Yes, sunshine all the way, so unusual for September.
So, tell us a little bit. A lot of our guests aren't all dairy, Alec, so it's a wide range of listeners. Tell us a little bit about Coupon Cars, how long you've been the manager there, and what happens at Coupon Cars.
Coupon Cars is owned by Wine and Pawn. It's now actually been taken over by Fania Pawn.
Okay.
So Mr. Pawn's daughter.
Oh wow.
So
what age is Mr. Pawn now?
Mr. Pawn's
he's retired.
81.
Wow, but I met him at I forget when it was. It would be a few years ago. We were buying. I forget what we were doing. I think. But and he just happened to come in.
Yeah.
And he didn't know who I was, but I was quite. He was asking me what I was doing, and he was
And the other good thing is when he walks in the shed, he can pick out the best cow in the shed, and he can remember it, who it is, who its sire is, from the last time he was there.
That's impressive, yeah.
You know, so he knows cows.
So his daughter now taking over
his
the company.
Now taking over the company.
And it's called. Oh, she's called
Fania.
Fania. Yeah.
Fania Pawn.
Yeah.
So
that's great, though. Eh? That's
yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And why did he buy a farm in the west of Scotland? Wine and Pawn's a Dutchman, farming in Germany and Holland. One of his reasons is he loves this part of the world. You know, he loves the people. The type of land we've got here at Coupon Castle is fairly similar to Holland. It's all flat, no stones, clay, and except for a heavy rainfall.
And maybe some of your farm below sea level as well, like
in certain days.
Yeah.
So he had bought a house in Rockcliffe at Dalbeattie years ago as a holiday house, which he still owns. So he had acquaintance with the west of Scotland. But back in the early 80s, when he bought the farm in 83, he could use it as a stopover to bring genetics from Canada into Holland, because he couldn't do it direct.
Oh, okay.
So having that base here in Scotland allowed him to do that. So in 83, he bought Coupon Cars. He took on Jan Vos as the farm manager, and they brought in from the Netherlands 70 heifer calves, which was the start of the pedigree base. Mm-hmm. And these were genetics that probably nobody else in the UK had. And the Puget Sound Chic and Tops Monitor Legend, Vary. There was lots of different sires in there that was not available in the UK. At the same time, to get the milk in the tank, he bought a herd of 160 commercial cows to get started producing milk. And so in April 84, the first milk was produced at Coupon Cars. It was a new shed, new setup, and they had managed to acquire some quota to get up and running.
Was that would have been the first year of quotas?
Yes.
84? Yeah.
So there was a little ruffling of feathers, you know, Dutchman coming into the west of Scotland. How did he get quota? But I think, we'll have to look at the bigger picture. He is still here producing a lot of work for employees in the Newtonshire area. I came to Coupon in 2nd of January 89 as a herdsman under Jan Vos, and by that time he had a pedigree herd established. Most of the commercial cows were almost on their way out, and we were doing a little bit of showing to get a name, selling at the black and white sale, club sales, selling bulls, so
etc.
And that was it. That was really the start of Coupon Cars.
So, just rewind a little bit. The chap that you mentioned that owns the farms.
Wine and Pond.
Yes. So, are they farmers by trade in
Holland?
Holland.
Yeah.
Yes.
They milk in Holland. They milk at the moment. They milk around 380 cows. They're milking around 1,000 jerseys in East Germany.
Oh wow!
And he also is the owner of Alta Genetics.
Oh.
And he's got a number of businesses. He's got the colostrum. He takes the colostrum off the farm. SCCL.
SCCL.
Yeah.
So he owns that business in Canada, so he's bringing the colostrum back in.
I almost wrote my water bottle in here.
should have,
That was SCCL.
That would have been
water
very
bottle.
on brand. He's got his water bottle by CCL.
And they do the calcium boluses, and so a lot of it does revolve. A lot of his business does revolve around
Agriculture.
agriculture. He has other businesses out with agriculture as well.
Right.
The farm, Wynan had a farm in Canada as well. I don't think he owns it anymore. So I've been fortunate enough to visit all of and there was one in Australia at one time as well, was there?
There could have been.
I think possible. Well, I never got to visit that one, but I visited the Canadian farm quite a few times. Obviously, Coupon Cars. The one in Holland still is a cutting edge genetics.
Yes.
I think they have a cow nominated for Holstein Cow of the Year from Coupon this year. I think they do.
Yeah. And they've also now got the biggest red and white breeding program probably in the world.
Yeah.
At Coupon in Holland.
Okay. So bringing it back to the UK, what's the size of the operation at?
Currently, we're running 430 cows with 7 A5 robots, Lely robots, and so it's all commercial milk production. But what we really focus in is on efficiency.
Okay.
So we're pushing for yield, measuring dry matter intakes, measuring how much milk's coming out of the cows, and also when picking bulls, we're picking the top end genetics to maximise profits.
So when you're selecting the bulls, you go back to 1989 when you were selecting bulls, and you mentioned Sheik, and you mentioned the whole process of proving a bull back then was a 6 or 7 year process.
Yes.
So, and it was a magazine, and it was pictures, and it was completely different. So you're selecting now on using genomic figures, Alex. So what are those criteria that you're really looking at? Is it TPI? Is it net merit? What are the things that really stand out?
We're looking at indexes.
Yeah.
So the indexes we're looking at the moment, the last bull's come in about 1100, or just over 1140. Over 90 kilos of fat and protein. And so I put 50% towards production, 50% towards health and fertility, 0 in type. The type that's coming through now with these top-end genomics, I can see it in the linear. So I don't need to double emphasize it.
Yeah.
2 things that I get from my milk check. One is the production. So that's what's the milk. The money has to be there.
Milk sold, yeah.
To milk sold, and the health and fertility is what I'm going to pay the vet. So if I don't pay attention to what the health and fertility side of things is, we can't get cows them back. And remember, these cows now, they're averaging 14,000, 15,000 litres, the big high yielders. Your heifers are a little bit behind. But overall, we're averaging 12,000 litres. So we have to really focus in on the important things that it gets a cow
Is that always what you've focused on? Is that the sort of mantra throughout, way back in the 80s when you first began it? Or so it's completely overhauled?
Completely.
So it was the opposite back then?
And the opposite, glossy brochure on the table, looking at the nice, the good udders, stature, show type, and, you know, as time goes on, as a commercial milk producer with pedigree cows, our focus has changed.
Yeah.
And with the numbers we've got, we're still at 430 cows. Every cow gets attention to detail as if it's the only cow in the farm. So we still want to portray that when we get visitors, we can still show a real good classy.
What was the catalyst for the change in sort of?
I think it's economics.
Right.
We want to make sure that we can keep going, and also as a business, we have to be profitable. There's enough people there wanting to empty your bank account, so we have to make sure there's a little there to keep paying everybody.
One of the things, I've visited Coupon on several occasions. I've always been really impressed with the production of the cows, and that's in your breeding policy. But since you've switched to robots, have you felt that you've been able to really accentuate the potential in the cow more than when you were on the rotary only?
Totally. And it's now, after 4 years of the robots, we see heifers consistently at 50 kilos, setting calvers 70 kilos, getting back and calve, and not burning themselves out. Because if these cows can get milked 5 times a day, they still keep their youth. And I think that's the big thing that we see. You really see the potential of these cows. And
been able to really express that potential.
Totally.
Yeah, that's good to know. I think when you look at what we've done in the dairy industry, we've almost went full circle from having a small herd of cows with 30, and the attention detail was like individualistic. We've gone to big rotary, and then I think in a robot system, that attention to detail is back again, where you spend all your time in the barn, focusing, and that's the thing I like about the robot. You're able to really, you're not just like sticking on a cluster in a rotary and doing everything really quick. And that's probably where the cow can really express its genetic potential in that sort of system.
Absolutely. And it gives you the time to deal with the day-to-day issues. If you see a cow with a sore foot, you can bring her in straight away. There's no time delays. Everything's measured on the robots, so you've all the reports there, morning and night. So realistically, we've got everything there, and we must use all the tools that's in that toolbox.
So are you 100% Holstein?
Yes.
Yeah. Always have been?
Always have been.
She's asking you because she's got a small little jersey enterprise called Treasure Jerseys.
Love a jersey.
And she
love a jersey.
She's trying to sell you jerseys. That's what she's trying to do, Alan.
Not a salesman. I'm not one of those. No, we milk at home, and we're predominantly Holstein as well. We have a wee few jerseys because they are the ultimate cow, aren't they? They are.
Jersey Jewel sales this week. No, so I think I mentioned in the intro that you were Dairy Farmer of the Year last year.
You're reigning dairy farmer.
Which is an incredible thing. And that, running a dairy farm of your size and your success involves lots of things, doesn't it? You're vet, you're a nutritionist, you've got genetics, you've got forage, you've got a team.
Yeah.
What's the secret to how do you you've been mega successful, so how do you get that all to happen smoothly?
Yeah. I think realistically it's a team effort. And one of the things that we do is we have a coffee break at 10 o'clock every morning. We bring everybody together, and
every morning,
even if we're at silage.
Wow.
I maybe don't stop because I'm in too big a hurry. But we try and get everybody together, because the people on the tractor side and the dairy people have to work together, and we have to find out what's happening today, what's happening tomorrow, but also just to chew the fat a little and talk about all the things that's nothing to do with farming.
Yeah.
And just bring everybody together and just have them all working as a team.
Right.
So that, I think, is very important to us. Remember, some of these people are starting at 6:30, some 7:00, and so we want them all to get just at one point together. Some go home for their lunch, some stay for their lunch, so it's a good time. Everybody's together, and that's a tradition that's been with Coupon since probably '83.
Wow.
Since even before I was there.
That's probably something that doesn't happen on.
That was not what I thought you were going to say when you said
Yeah.
the secret to it, because that is not a standard answer that you would get from any type of
And
family.
that's just part of it.
But if you're getting that gets people.
Yeah.
And, I mean-
It's really good to.
Yeah.
It's nice to hear.
And the thing is, like, I'm here today. I was on the calves this morning. I've got somebody else that can do the calves. And the way I want it is I've got 3 people who can do everything.
Mm.
So if somebody's on holiday and somebody becomes sick,
Yeah.
everybody is integrated a little bit, that they all know a bit about something.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's just part of it. And you mentioned there the vet. We have a routine vet visit every week. The foot trimmer comes in every 3 weeks. So we're constantly monitoring foot health.
Mm-hmm.
Nutritionist probably once a month. But any changes at all, you can be on the phone with the nutritionist. Everything's all measured. So we're always focusing on the important things. The things that really make the difference, how the cows look, how they're converting their silage. So we've got all these numbers there all the time.
Measurements key as well.
And we do all our own tractor work, and that gives us the ability to go to silage when the weather takes up.
Mm.
So, and we don't have to wait on contractors. Yeah.
I mentioned I've travelled around all of those farms, the Coupon farms, and one of the things they have in common is they're spotless.
Oh, tidy. Nice.
And I think that is a tremendous advert for the industry.
Yeah.
But it also, all of the staff always seem to be totally invested in those farms, which is a great. It's great for Mr. Pond that he's got staff that really
In any business,
are
it's really
are invested in that. So you go back to your 10:00 break. He's obviously values the people.
Yeah, and it
And
does.
I think that shows in what the farms,
Yeah.
how the farms portray what they're doing.
But it doesn't matter if you go to Germany or Holland. Everybody will stop at 10:00 in their own country. However, everybody knows the standards that we work to. If you're cleaning, if you're mucking out pens, you put the brush on when you're finished and you brush the yard. So easy.
Everybody knows this.
It's a 5-minute job,
Yeah.
but it's amazing how it keeps the place. If we all follow these same protocols.
So do the staff on each farm get a chance to visit the other farms that in the other countries?
Sometimes,
Yeah.
I've been at the mall.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the other staff have been about, but
Mm-hmm.
certainly the managers have all,
Yeah,
and some of the senior staff.
And do you chat to the other managers on
Yes.
a regular level? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's quite good to have that ability, because that's quite unique, obviously, to have
Share knowledge like that.
cultures in different businesses, isn't it, in different countries?
Absolutely, and we share techniques and how we do things, and is there something that they're doing that we could pull this way? Because it's a total different idea, different thoughts, and because you can't get too used to looking at your own
100%, yeah.
and never really thinking out the box. So
It's good.
and we sometimes have actual manager meetings where we all get together and we can discuss things, and we maybe have a topic. One year it was compact feeding, so we all got together and we went to Denmark to meet the man who brought out compact feeding.
Well,
And the first place I seen that was at Coupon.
Yeah.
wow.
But you've always sort of been, I would say, trend setting with different ideas.
Techniques and things.
Are you still with the making of forage has always been exceptional? Do you still do the zero grazing for certain?
We've actually stopped zero grazing in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
With the robots, and I've one full-time tractorman and myself who can go to the tractor side. So I used to go and get the grass. I lost my license 2 years ago through an eye operation that went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I've had diabetes for 50 years, and it's just what happens in life. And so to pull things in a little, we decided to stop zero grazing and really concentrate more on the making our forages and spreading slurry, and just make sure we can keep on top of things.
Yeah. And you mentioned Mr. Pond, he owns Alta Genetics.
Yeah.
So is the herd 100% Alta Genetics
Yes,
based?
100%.
And is all the farms that way?
As far as I'm aware,
Yeah.
no. I think they will in Holland. They will use different because of their breeding programs.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think maybe in Germany they use a little different semen because they're organic, so they're using polled Jersey bulls, and so they maybe have to pull a few in from elsewhere.
Yeah.
So, but go back to the genomics, we were actually one of the first countries that, one of the first farms that Alta offered genomic semen to. But as me as a Scottish dairy farmer, young bull semen, I'll put it my worst cows. What happened?
Yeah.
When I got my heifers in 2.5 years later, these were some of the best heifers that I had. And that just pulled a string in my heart that said, listen,
let's go for it.
With Mr. Pond's backing, we went 100% genomics right from the start.
And are you testing the females now?
We're not actually testing, we're doing it all through Dairy Comp, and so best genetics in the, so it measures milk, fat, protein.
Purely based on parent average indexes?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you just explain, I don't know, maybe both of you maybe have an input on this, on what genomics is? Because if you're not a dairy farmer, I don't think it's widely known the ins and outs of what genomics actually is. When you're saying do you test genomics, tell me what it is.
So the index that Alex is using it on his females is the index of the sire and the mother, and then that calf is the parent average. Where genomics is a DNA analysis of the genetics.
So you DNA the calf when it's born, and then that's where the genomics.
Yeah, and they can analyze production, fat, protein, health traits, different linears. They've been able to analyze from the data that was collected over a long period of time on milk production classifications.
So it's more.
And it's. I haven't explained it very well, but it's about 80%, 85% accurate on. So if once a bull's born and you take his genomics, that is 85% reliable, and that's more reliable than a first proof. A bull proof would have been back in the day when you were taking the data from 40 or maybe was it 40 daughters to get a first proof. So now, that information is more accurate than.
So it's just a more accurate way of testing what you can produce, basically. Okay. Yeah. So why is it just taking time to settle in and people to believe it, I guess? Then
I think I did a piece for Wholesale International back in 2010 saying in the next couple of years every female will be tested, and that didn't happen because I just thought people would just jump on it, and it was like, you're a little bit because no one really liked to use a young bull back in the day.
Yes.
Right.
So you wanted to get a proven bull, but you didn't want to end up with a bull that was there was so many bulls that flopped.
Yeah.
And then you've spent your whole life using proven bulls, and then when this new sort of genomic index comes along, you're
skeptical of the whole thing.
You were, and there was a lot of skepticism on, and in 2010 the first bulls were available.
Yes.
Yeah. So it wasn't. They were still they said about 70%, but still there was a few ups and downs for a few years until they started to really build up. And the Holstein indexes, genomic indexes now are so reliable, and that's purely on the numbers of animals that have been tested, female and male.
So it's becoming more and more popular now. More people are.
There's
not. And remember, get back to those early 90s and that. We were always looking at these type of bulls. You know, we're looking for this show type cow, and we're always frightened that when you use unproven bulls, that you didn't know what you were going to get. And using genomics in the very early days is a little bit like going into the unknown because it's only scientists.
But they were using the data that we've collected, the milk recording data, the classifications, and they've added more to it. And that's one thing that I suppose farmers need to continue to do to make sure that genomics are being accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Because if there's a danger that we don't need all this, recording of data anymore, but I still think it's really important that we do that
So you're verifying.
to verify what genomics is telling us. And so far, it's very accurate.
And what I see now is genomics. When I walk into my heifer shed and 125 heifers, you could almost put a ruler down their backs. They're all the same height. There's no big ones. There's no small ones. They're all even.
Fair.
And one of the traits that we don't breed for stature anymore, because the stature in our cows is big enough. So we want to try and contain that where it is, and just.
That's not easy though, huh?
It's not easy because the higher the milk bull, I think the more these cows want to grow. So a real production cow really wants to.
But I was looking at some data the other night. It's really boring, isn't it? But no, it's quite interesting. So you go back to efficiency and the feed efficiency figures will be the next real thing to really focus on in genomics. But a lot of the highest efficiency bulls were high stature bulls, which I know we don't want taller cows, but there's a correlation with feed efficiency, and obviously if they're
too tall.
No, but obviously if they can convert forage really efficiency, they're going to grow
big,
easier. But so we need to make sure that we're not promoting. But I know that these high stature cows are more difficult to manage.
Yeah, and the farm itself, we've produced 4,700 ton cows in my time at Coupon, and what I can say is they're all medium-sized cows. There's never been a
trouble-free,
never a big tall one, never a small one, and the number of cows who are mother and daughter, mother and granddaughter, it is unbelievable within that.
That's why I'd like to see you guys, like the farm in Holland is like leading genetic enterprise globally. But you guys have some fantastic cows that you could be.
So if something doesn't, over those years though, if something hasn't worked or hasn't produced what you want to produce, or isn't the type of cow like a family isn't producing what, do you just cull it out, or you just?
No, we'll still milk away. We'll still milk them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's a business.
Yeah.
And we will still, and if I get too many heifers in, we will sell a batch of cows or a batch of heifers out. But normally, when if something doesn't work, we'll just work away with these till once.
That's a good question, Laura. That leads on to, we've talked about Alta Genetics, but this new Alta Blue Link.
Yeah.
So explain that to the listener. That is a way for you to only breed your top heifers to the top genetics, and the lesser ones get beef. So explain how that works.
So Alta Blue Link is set up on the computer through Dairycom, and gathers all the information off the computer. So it's picking up on the best genetics, best yields, and the computer puts forward what we're to inseminate the cows to. So best genetics will get done to sex semen, the rest will get done to Belgian Blue, and the heifers, maiden heifers, if they're not good enough for sex semen, they will get done to Angus. So every week we will PD. So we have a vet visit on a Friday. So we will PD on a Friday and check out any cows we've not seen bulling by day 50. And so the numbers are constantly going through the computer. The computer's constantly re-evaluating. And if we sell a cow that's early in calf to sex semen, and when you enter it into the computer, it will then put forward another cow to be done to sex semen.
Oh.
So our criteria is 16 heifer calves a month. So it is constantly measured.
So you can set your own criteria.
Yes.
Of what you want. Yeah.
So I mean, but that's a great thing, even for our business here. Our business is selling livestock, and we think of ourselves as the original integrated livestock chain, supply chain. So I think if a lot of people get their sexed semen, too many heifers,
Yeah.
too many bulls. But that's a great tool that a lot of dairy farmers should jump on, really. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Can it be used with uniform as well as
No.
dairy comp? It can't.
I
It's
think
just for dairy
only
comp.
for dairy comp. And
Okay.
for us, it allows us to maximise our young stock accommodation potential.
Yes.
So we're not overloading at certain times of the year, and we don't want to invest in any more young stock accommodation. We are going to invest in putting another robot on, so a bit more infrastructure on the cow side, but we've got enough accommodation for young stock, and so this would allow us to keep going without having to invest again on the young stock side. And again, we done the numbers in young stock maybe 4 years ago, and we quite really realised rearing young stock to sell on wasn't always so profitable.
In your system, yeah.
Yeah. So what this allows us to do is to really maximise the genetics of the young stock that we have got by giving them the best start in life, that we're not compromising them by putting too many in the one shed. And
Okay.
so
do you guys sell anything now from Coupon?
we will sell some heifers privately. We stopped selling bulls, and now it's just, after that, it's beef calves at kind of 10 to 12 weeks.
That's the only thing that you can do.
Yeah. And again, we are having to look after staff. We don't want to overload staff on the farm. We are looking at ways of how do we keep a hold of our staff. A cup of coffee is maybe not to do it forever.
Yeah.
So at the moment we're putting in collectors, because somebody has to go to the end of the shed and scrape the muck through the slads and scrape across the front of the robots. So if we can get a machine that can do that, we could move somebody across to feed calves or go and do tractor work in the field. And it gives them new skills, and it gives them, another. Yeah, I'm not sitting at the bottom anymore.
Yeah,
I've got to step
there's
up.
progression.
Yeah, progression.
Yeah.
Do you feel that with the robot system now that it's a bit more of a flexible working
Yes,
arrangement for the staff,
absolutely.
rather than having to come at 3 a.m. or 3:30 in the morning?
Exactly.
So that'll have helped dramatically, has it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're still evaluating that. So the first people are usually 3 of us out by 6:30, and then 7 o'clock, then 8 o'clock. And one of the things I would like to go and do is we put the collectors in. Somebody comes out at 7 o'clock at night. They maybe finish at 2:30.
Yeah.
And they spend 2 hours at night doing the collects and scraping down the beds and dealing with a new calf. So it gives a new calf cow. So it gives them a bit of freedom to go and do something else through the day, in an afternoon. So we're looking at all these things. And where did this idea come from? It came from a farm in Holland. They're already practicing it, and it seems to be working pretty well.
Yeah. You have to make things adaptable and attractive as well when you're talking about staff
Yes.
retention and things like that.
It's been an interesting journey. Like from when do you start? 89, do you say?
89.
89.
Yes.
So you've seen a massive change
Yes.
in forage making, in cows, in the type of cow, in genetics, in just your normal working day. It's changed. Have you enjoyed it?
Absolutely. And I think 35 years tells you that. Still there, still got up in the morning, wonder what's round the corner. But yeah.
You still have you still sound like you've got lots of fresh ideas and enthusiasm for it.
Yes, totally.
Which if you hadn't enjoyed that, maybe would have waned by now.
Yeah.
And we're constantly looking at how can we make life a little easier. What can we do? What can we invest in? And we've got a real good team here. How do we keep them here? And so these are the kind of things that we look at. Constantly looking at, and how do we? We'll look at numbers every month. All the numbers are evaluated to make sure that we're on course to be still profitable by the end of the year. So it's not a shock at the end of the year.
I hear a lot of people now talking about energy corrected. We're selling so much. Do you guys work on that? Like energy corrected milk?
Yeah. At the moment we're sitting 38.5
Hang on. What's energy correct milk?
Well, energy corrected milk's where the average for milk is 4% butter fat, and they will then correct it by your litres. So if you've got higher butter fat than
3.7.
is it 3.7?
3.7.
Right.
Then they put it towards your litres, and it can raise your litres.
I think protein set 3.3. I think.
Yeah. So at the moment we're doing 38.5, 4.15, and 3.55 protein.
Yep.
So when you energy correct it, it pushes up to 40 litres.
But it gives it quite rather than 42, and it gives you and it also your inputs and all. It's quite a good figure, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like from a economic point of view.
Yeah. I mean, the other one we also watch is FCE, so energy corrected milk. Is that the right word?
Mm-hmm.
And so basically dry matter in, so 24 kilos of dry matter, milk out, which gives you a figure, and we're sitting usually 1.6, 1.65. So 1 kilo of dry matter gives you 1.65 kilos of milk. So again, these are numbers that we're constantly watching.
I think what the common theme about what you do on your farm is that you know those figures.
Yeah.
And because you can't manage something if you don't measure it.
Absolutely.
It's okay for people to say, no, it's all about milk from forage and it's all about this. And then you say, all right, okay, so how do you measure that? And it's kind of like, well, it's just about milk from forage. And you're like, okay, so what does that mean? Do you know what I mean? I think that's a really key thing to what from what I can grasp you're coming away with.
And I think also we talk about the past and we talk about what we do now. The minute the feed goes into the feed wagon, I can see it in the computer. So I can tell exactly how accurate, and we've got all those numbers, how much silage goes in, how much concentrates goes in.
Yeah.
So we can measure those to a kilo every day.
Yeah.
What app are you using for that?
We are actually using the Keenan program.
Yeah.
So
there's not like you can't just chuck in an extra 50 kilograms of soy. Hey, so it's that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we talk about efficiencies. We talk about doing this wet mix. So
are you still doing the compact feeding?
We still do the compact feeding. So in the afternoon.
Explain to people what that is, because a lot of people maybe.
Compact feeding, yeah.
So compact feeding, it starts away with a wet mix. So we'll put in molasses, the pre-mix, so your blend, and we will also put in caustic wheat, and then water. So it could be 10 kilos of cow, 10 litres a kilo of water. Mix it up, leave it sit for a few hours, and put it back out. So when we mix in the following day, we only have one big bucketful of the wet mix or two bucketfuls of the wet mix. So you've only one ingredient that can go wrong, is your wet mix. And then your whole crop. So, and then let it mix, let it break down a little. So why is this so important? We're trying to make that TMR with 37 to 38% dry matter. And when you do that and your concentrates are all wet and sticky, they actually stick to the silage. So when the cows are sorting, nosing around, they can't find any. We talk about sweeties.
Yeah.
It's all stuck
Any
to
of the good
silage.
bits.
All the good bits. So you got a much more even feed so the cows can eat from the top, and they're not nosing to the bottom. So they eat much more quickly, and they go and lie down quicker.
Yeah.
It gets them off their feet and gets them cudding a bit quicker.
And they're getting a more balanced intake.
And it possibly doesn't look as nice. Because what, you like this like big fluffy TMR.
Yeah.
When I first seen it, I thought, oh, that doesn't just you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It really does does what it says on the tin.
Totally.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That does make sense.
Okay, we'll just take a break now for our sponsors. Here's a message from Finance for Farms.
Finance for Farms, we're specialists within the agricultural sector.
The whole leasing of cattle's strange. A lot of people haven't heard of it before and they wonder how it works, but it's really straightforward.
If I find a batch of cows I want to buy or do a deal on, I can phone them up and say, what's the chances of doing a deal on these batch of animals? And they'll say yes or no.
Anything that I've asked, or requested and spoken to Shire about has been dealt in quickly in a professional manner, and it's either a yes or a no.
What makes Finance for Farms different to mainstream funders and banks is speed and efficiency. A farmer can call us today, say he's looking to go to market tomorrow, and the finance will be in place for him to go the following day and purchase the animals he requires.
To learn more about the finance solutions available to support your farm's growth, call the Finance for Farms team on 01827 300 333 or head over to their website on www.financeforfarms.co.uk.
And also our media partner, Herds Media. Check out those guys if you need videography, photography. They're the north of England's leading guys in all of that. So, and they've just been down to Dairy Day, so check out some of the footage from Dairy Day. Alec, so that's been really interesting, and lots of the on the feeding, that whole journey of through your career. So, what's the next big exciting thing in dairy?
Oh, I think that we, as a business, I would like still to increase the numbers, but still keep the attention to detail there with what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I think with robots, it's just, for cow fanatics, it's a great way of working with cows. And so for us, we are still looking at probably increasing cows, more automation into the farm, and eventually probably going to automatic feeding as well.
So with regards to automatic feeding, there's a couple of systems at the moment. What's your preference to what's available in the market at the moment?
At the moment, we are with Lely. I have told them I don't like this silly little grab thing.
It's horrible.
Yeah, and so...
Do you like the trial system then?
I don't like the rail. I think...
The rail?
Trail that do one on a rail, but we need to wait till it's more autonomous that it can drive around itself. However, I think there is.
There
could be.
Martinsons out there have a one that's on a self-drive little.
Could be, but however, we're not quite at that stage. I think what we would like to do is probably increase the cow numbers a little.
Yeah.
Because we were a 500 cow unit before going to robots, and we had to take some cubicles out to put the robots in, so we had to reduce cow numbers. And
are you selling less milk?
We're selling less milk.
You are selling, even with the extra production?
Even with extra production.
Yeah.
So with an extra one robot would take us beyond where we were at with output. So that's where we want to get back to initially. But with that investment, we would like to plan ahead that we could leave the place in that would be set up that we could do automated feeding fairly simply.
I think the robots would probably benefit from a robotic feeding system that rather than having them all coming down twice a day or once a day.
Absolutely.
That I can see the machine coming would also stimulate intakes as well. Coming down 12 or I don't know how many times the robot would feed, but it would be.
And again, it's all about these people are employing these guys. How could I use them better? Have them a little bit more work towards the cow side. If we increase the cows, we need to optimise something else to keep these same guys. And our staff retention is very good, and we want to keep that. So yeah.
And do you have any rising stars? So you've been with the coupon for how many years did you say?
35.
So do you have natural succession within the team, Have you a herd manager that's coming through, or
It's hard to say at this moment. I've got key people there that can look after the place when I'm not there. So whether they've got the ambition to keep driving forward after I'm gone, it's hard. It's a hard one to answer.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
And does Mr. Pawn have ambitions to have another farm in Scotland, or is he quite happy with that one, or does he? What's the long-term plans for Coupon?
I think if we could get land close where we could grow more crops,
you can
I think
put more cows on there.
Yeah, we would look at, and again that goes back to efficiency. If we could grow wheat, would that be able to benefit the farm? You know, could we rear some extra stock on that farm? So we're always looking at all these opportunities.
Yeah. What do you see? Maybe what does the whole Coupon group see as the biggest challenges over the next 10, 20 years in food production?
I think it's labour and environment. You know, the rain. You know, how do we adapt to the constantly, I would say, wet conditions? And you know, so some of the investments we've done so far. You know, we've invested heavy into slurry storage. So 2 new slurry stores, roofs on them. Remember, we're on 1,450 mil of rain on average a year, and so all that rainfall into a slurry tower lagoon is a lot extra water. So we want to minimise the amount of stuff we have to put out, but also what we are putting out is more concentrated, so we get better use of it. Yeah. But also following all the latest guidelines of the government, trailing shoes, dribble bars, whatever. So we're all completely set up for that now as well.
And I suppose it reduces your reliance as well on chemical fertilizer, doesn't
Absolutely.
it? So if you've got a higher quality slurry going back, yes. So yeah, that can reduce that a lot. Yeah.
And this year we have reduced it by more than a half.
That's impressive, Ali.
You know, and we had a little bit of leftover silage this year, and mostly due to reducing cow numbers to put the robots in. So we've been building a little bit of stock. So I said, let's really go out this year and empty all the slurry stores, which we have done. So we get it all used at the right time. Yeah. So it's all been used between March and August.
I know a lot of farmers will feel that investment in just storing slurry is dead money, but it's not really if you start to analyse the savings. And that's good. That's good that you said that. Really,
you know. So that's really, you know, part of where that journey we're on about being more efficient, you know, and getting better use of the staff, getting making their life a little easier to move them around to give them a more satisfying job.
No, I think that's everything. You have nothing else to add to. I've really enjoyed learning about Coupon cars.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the is it 100 miles or 80 miles? How far was it?
80.
80. Yeah. And no, I really appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best for the rest of the year and the rest of Coupon Cars. Your time at Coupon Cars.
Yeah, already.
So that's it, guys. Laura had to leave early today, so no outro with Laura. So hopefully she had a very important appointment, which you'll get to see next month. Next month we're going to do 2 podcasts, but it'll be our Borderway Agri Expo special and another very exciting guest on our other podcast. It just leaves me to say a big thank you to our sponsors once again, Finance for Farms and Herds Media. Please check out the podcast no matter how you listen, whether it's Spotify or on Apple Listen. Is it Apple Listen? Apple whatever. Yeah, whatever. I forget the Apple one is. And yeah, hopefully you really found Alex talk really interesting on coupon cars. There's some really interesting YouTube footage on the farm if you want to check that out on coupon cars as well. It just leaves me to say thanks for listening to the one and only, and I've been Glenn Lucas, so thanks for listening.